Welcome back to of the JOTO Show. I'm the host, Jay Lakers, and Tony Baloney.
Hey everyone, week 3 of the JOTO Show, episode 3 of the JOTO Show. Let's get started. It's a big week.
And there's a lot of stuff we have to talk about.
Yeah. So we ask this question all the time. You know it. What's going on, sports world? First, I'd like to mention Tua Tagovailoa suffered a concussion in the loss against Buffalo on Thursday. Tyler Huntley was signed to most likely be his replacement.
What position?
Quarterback.
Oh. I was watching some of that game, and I saw Buffalo's really winning, and I just turned it off. I just didn't want to finish it.
Yeah. So yeah, Tua suffered his third concussion in the last 2 years, I believe.
Ooh, that's not good.
So people want him to retire, but he's come out to say that I'm not retiring.
He's the A-show retirement?
No, it's just because he's gotten injured so much from the concussion. People are just telling him he should probably retire.
Yeah, okay, I get it.
All right, prime time games, folks. Let's start off with the previously mentioned Thursday night football. Buffalo took on Miami in Miami. Bills won 31-10. Tua, obviously, as mentioned previously, he got a concussion. We'll talk more about that later for potentially when he comes back. James Cook, however, had 3 touchdowns in the first half, so that was really good for him. We had Josh Allen throwing for 139 yards, 13 out of 19 for a touchdown. Tua had 145 yards, 17 for 25, 1 touchdown, but 3 costly picks.
Jeez.
3 interceptions. Obviously with Tua getting concussed in the middle of the game, we had to get a replacement. So Skylar Thompson came in for 14 passes, completed 8 of them, no touchdowns for 80 yards.
Dang. That's a lot. Dude, that's a close one. Thursday night wasn't close. Sunday night looks like it's closer. Houston, Texas, 19-13 over Chicago Bears. You can go.
Yeah, this game was a pretty close one. 21 penalties combined for on both sides.
Yikes.
So that was a lot called. And it should have been 22 because during a play or after a play, one of the Texans defenders tackled the guy, and then when he got up, he smacked one of the Bears players, but the Bear player wasn't even in the game. He was on the bench. So he just smacked him or slapped him.
I didn't see Sunday night football.
And it went uncalled, so it should have been 22. But still, very high penalty game. Texans won their second straight. And we'll talk more about divisions and the leaders on those later. But CJ Stroud had 260 yards, 1 touchdown for 23 and 36 passing. Caleb Williams had 2 interceptions and no touchdowns for 174 yards on 23 out of 37 passing. Monday Night Football, we had an even closer game.
The Eagles lost. Wow. 22 the Atlanta Falcons 22, Eagles 21.
Yep. We had a game-winning touchdown by Atlanta. To put it in perspective of how bad this was, the Eagles converted a first down at the 2-minute warning, and they were given a 99.3% chance of winning in the whole the live odds of winning. So Atlanta had a 0.7% chance of winning the game with 1:56 left. Saquon Barkley There was a pass thrown to him on third down, and he dropped it. It would have sealed the deal. He would have got the first down, ended the game, and all of that. But he dropped it, so Atlanta was given a final chance to
Yeah.
win it, which they took advantage and won it. Kirk Cousins had 241 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Jalen Hurts had 183 yards with 1 touchdown and 1 interception.
Wow. That's a lot. Then next will be, I don't know what will be next.
Next is our Sunday afternoon games.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We got a lot. I will kind of want to speed through them, but I have a lot written here, so we might not be able to. That's fine. So, start with that top game right there. Vegas Raiders taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Talk about a comeback.
I was watching that game after we'll talk about the Bengals game. After the Bengals game. Oh, no, before the Bengals game. Yeah, it was before the Bengals game. I was watching that. I was like, holy.
So, heading into the fourth quarter, they were down 10, and a stat showed up. 49 straight losses for the Raiders when trailing by 10 or more heading into the fourth quarter. 49 straight. So if you were the Raiders and you were down 10 heading into the fourth, you were basically guaranteed to lose. Not this time. They went on a crazy run. Gardner Minshew had a crazy game, throwing for 276 yards with 1 touchdown. Obviously, that 1 pick that hurt. But when he threw that pick, when he went back to the bench, Max Crosby told him, "We got your back. Don't think twice about it." All that good jazz. And he and Max had a game too,
Really?
sacking Lamar twice.
Jeez.
And speaking of Lamar, he did not have a good. He had a good game, but he didn't have as good as Gardner. 247 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
Wow. Huh. And the next,
All right, next game.
the highest for week 2.
How about them Cowboys?
Ugh.
44-19. Saints win. I don't know what to tell y'all. I think Alvin Kamara might be Offensive Player of the Year at the very least.
Really?
From what I've seen from week 2, Alvin Kamara, Offensive Player of the Year. And if you don't like that, Derek Carr MVP, because it's either one or the other.
Yeah, either one of them.
Derek Carr, 243 yards. Now, that sounds normal. But then you realize he only threw 16 passes and completed only 11 of them. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Dak Prescott, 293 yards, 27 out of 39. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Heading into this game, the Cowboys had a 16-game winning streak when they were playing at home in the regular season because they recently lost. So that streak got broken.
Cowboys, where's the record now for Cowboys?
1-1.
Oh, okay.
This game got so bad that they had to sub in Cooper Rush for 3 passes. 1 completion, 6 yards. And put in their backup. Moving on, though. We got to move on. We got a lot to get through. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Detroit. Bucks won that game 20-16. I watched it. Lions offense just seemed non-existent at some points. Like it was very bad offensively for the Lions. When you have a defensive player like Aiden Hutchinson sack the quarterback 4.5 times, including 2 in the first 5 minutes of the game, and you don't win, you have to ask what the hell happened on the offense. I mean, they even went with Jack Fox, the punter for the Lions. They even went with him to fake a punt and complete a first down. So yeah, and it worked, but they still couldn't do much. Jared Goff, 307 yards, 34 out of 55, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Yikes.
Baker only had 185, but he went 12 for 19 with a touchdown and also a pick.
Ooh.
Moving on, we got the Chargers going to Carolina and taking on the Panthers.
Looks like Panther only have 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
They only got 3 points. Dang.
Mm-hmm. 13 total points for the Panthers in the last 2 weeks. Looking at the screen, there are only 3 teams who didn't score 13 or more points. So the fact that you have to take 2 weeks worth of Panthers football for them to even like beat 3 out of the how many teams? It doesn't matter. The point is 13 points in 2 weeks is not good.
Nope.
On the flip side, J.K. Dobbins is really good. 17 rushes for 131 yards and a touchdown. Back-to-back 100-yard rushing days for J.K. Dobbins, the first guy to do it for the Chargers since 2006 LaDainian Tomlinson. Justin Herbert threw 14 of 20, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Those 2 touchdowns went to Quentin Johnston, believe it or not. 51 yards. He had 5 receptions for those 2 touchdowns as well. So Quentin had a pretty good game as well. Bryce Young, however, 84 yards, 18 for 26, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. And news broke out recently, a couple of days back, that Bryce Young has been benched for Andy Dalton.
Oh, wow. For
So
what
we'll be
team?
seeing, for the Panthers, we'll be seeing Andy Dalton and the Panthers take on the Raiders next week.
Andy Dalton, old Bengals quarterback, long time ago.
Yeah, the Cleveland Browns took on the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I was watching that game before the Bengals game. Because that was on before the Bengals came. I was watching it. I was like, oh, God, Jacksonville's going to lose this or something. I was like, yeah, they did. I was like, eh.
They almost brought it back. I was
Oh,
watching
I
that game
know.
too.
Yeah, I was watching it
And
too.
they got it close, but then they couldn't do nothing.
Nope.
Jerome Ford was kind of running pretty well. 7 rushes, 64 yards, not too shabby. You know, missing Nick Chubb really hurts, but at least Jerome Ford
It,
can carry
it's
some of the weight.
it's Jacksonville 1-1 now.
0-2.
0-2. Oh, wow. Trevor Owens is not doing so good. Like two
Nope.
2 weeks in a row.
And
And
what's crazy about Trevor is he had the better game stats wise than Deshaun Watson. He had 220 yards, 14 of 30, no touchdowns, but Deshaun only had 186 yards, 22 of
Browns are
34 with no
1-1
touchdowns.
now.
Yep. Also in this game, David Bell suffered an injury, and we will get to that during our injury report. All right.
Go ahead.
All right. Do I have to go ahead on this one?
Uh,
I don't know if I want to talk about this game, man.
I didn't see the game at all.
Okay, I guess I'll talk about it. The San Francisco 49ers went to Minnesota and lost 17-23 to the Vikings. And including Justin Jefferson having a 97-yard touchdown from Sam Darnold,
Jeez.
who used to be a Niner as the backup to Brock. Sam Darnold had 268 yards, 17 out of 26, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Brock Purdy had 319 yards because they were playing catch up. 28 out of 36, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Debo got injured, so that's great. And you know what's a crazy stat I found out about?
What?
The 49ers haven't beaten Minnesota in Minnesota since December 1992.
Holy crap, that long ago? Dang.
Yeah.
That means Minnesota are, what's the record? 1-1 or 2-0?
Minnesota is currently 2-0 and the Niners are 1-1.
Yikes. Next game, close game too. Holy, 16-10, Packers.
Yeah. The Colts went into this game thinking if we can stop a backup quarterback, we can win this game. That's what they should have thought. I mean, that's probably what they did thought. What they didn't know is they're going against Malik Willis, who for some reason had a really good game for a backup. Traded to the team about what 3 weeks ago now has it been? 122 yards, 12 of 14, really good percentage. 1 touchdown. He also had 41 rushing yards. But the main talk of the town in this game about this game is Josh Jacobs. 32 carries for 151 yards.
Jeez.
That is a lot. He didn't do none of that in the Raiders last year. That's for sure. And Anthony Richardson had 204 yards, 17 of 34, 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions. Moving on, the New York Jets took on the Tennessee Titans and won 24-17.
First win for New York Jets this year.
And for Aaron Rodgers as a Jet.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. He passed 4 plays this time around.
Yep, he made it to week 2. Technically, this is his second win because he started week 1 and they won against the Bills in that game, but like that was last year.
Oh
But like
yeah.
also at the same time, he only played 4 snaps, so I don't really count it. This is his first game that he finished that the Jets won. So congrats, Rodgers, your first Jets win.
Yep.
Levis of the Will Levis here had 192 yards, 19 for 28, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and 1 fumble loss that I want to mention because I think we have our second best photo from the league already. From him again. Last week we had him putting his hands on top of his head on his knees. And I'll edit it in here, but I'll show the people here. Just take a look at this photo. Talk about how do you even do this in football, man? Aaron Rodgers also had 176 yards, 18 out of 30, 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
New York Giants, Washington Commanders. Giants scored 3 touchdowns this game and still lost. They didn't have Graham Gano to get those extra points. He got injured, but for some reason they didn't. He was already on like the injury report heading into the game, so they didn't activate their other kicker, so that was a little weird. Commanders on the other hand scored 0 touchdowns. They had 7 field goals from Austin Seibert.
That's how good at 21.
Yep. No touchdowns.
Holy crap.
Brian Robinson Jr. had a game, 133 rushing yards on 17 carries. Jaden Daniels, 226 yards, 23 out of 29, no touchdowns, 44 rushing yards. Daniel Jones, his stats don't look bad on paper. 178 yards, 16 for 28, 2 touchdowns. That's not a bad stat for a quarter for Daniel Jones for sure. But yeah, the fact that you score 3 touchdowns and your opponent scores 0 touchdowns and you still lose, that just looks really bad on you.
21-18.
All right, next game we had our 1 overtime game here this week. The Seahawks 23, Patriots 20. Seahawks won that. The Pats are still doing good.
I'm happy the Patriots won. I mean, loss.
Yeah, but I mean, despite the loss though, like they're still doing good. They forced overtime against the Seahawks, who are now 2-0. So, I don't know. I don't know what to think about for the Patriots. I feel like they're good, but not like they're gonna beat every team in the league. But also they should be able to beat.
Week 1, they beat the Bengals by 16. It was, or whatever the score was in week 1.
Yeah.
From last week.
Yeah. Gino had 327 passing yards, 33 of 44, and 1 touchdown. Really good stats. Jacoby Brissett had 149 yards, 15 out of 27, and 1 touchdown. But the main story for the Pats was their running backs. Antonio Gibson and Ramondre Stevenson had a combined total of 177 rushing yards. Not bad.
Nope. No high score game. Difference.
Oh, I was watching this game.
I
I'll tell
didn't.
you that. I was watching this game. Marvin Harrison Jr., who, if you don't recall, was the 4th overall pick in this year's draft by the Cardinals. Last week, he had 1 catch for 4 yards, and that was his whole stat line. His quarterback Kyler Murray was then asked, "Hey, you didn't target him that much," and he said, "It's not my job," which is kind of weird. It is your job to throw the ball
It
to your
is.
receiver.
It is. For any
So
quarterback for any team.
I think he took that criticism and said, "Okay, you know what? Let me show them." He threw Marvin Harrison caught the ball 4 times, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Jeez. Yeah.
Yep. Kyler Murray finished the day with 266 yards and 3 touchdowns on 17 for 21 passing. And another note about Kyler, he had a perfect passer rating, which, for those who don't know, is 158.3. Matthew Stafford had 216 yards, 19 for 27, no touchdowns. Here's a crazy stat line, too. We have a lot of streaks being broken here. Obviously, that 49-game losing streak for the Raiders that broke. The Cowboys winning 16 straight at home broke. And then here's a crazy one. This is the Cardinals' first win against the Rams in Arizona since 2014.
Dang.
To put in perspective how long that's been, the Rams were in St. Louis the last time the Cardinals beat them in Arizona.
Now there was LA now. Wow.
And now they're in LA. One last thing. We will talk about it more later. Cooper Kupp did get injured in this game too. So, yeah, obviously we'll update you guys on that. Next game. The Steelers beat the Denver Broncos 13-6. The Steelers. This was supposed to be Russ's revenge game, or the Denver Broncos revenge on Russ, but he was out for this game. The Broncos did all right. I mean, they did do a trick play. It was a pretty good trick play. They did a wildcat formation. The running back, I believe, was the one there. He hands it off like a little jet sweep, but then the wide receiver laterals it back to Bo Nix, and he throws it, completes it. It's an amazing play. They're in red zone from it at the 12. So what do they do with that? Well, they threw an interception in the end zone after that trick play. Bo Nix finished with 2 interceptions that day, 246 yards, 20 for 35, no touchdowns. And Justin Fields just had to be good. 13 of 20, 117 yards, and 1 touchdown. Not bad.
Jeez.
And finally, for our NFL Week 2 recap, we have
Kansas City Chiefs taking on Cincinnati Bengals. It was a close game. Bengals almost won this game. We should have won this game. It was the bad calls by the refs. And Patrick Mahomes and it drove 2 interceptions, I think.
yes.
2 interceptions. This is a really close game. Me and my friend, me and my cousin, and a couple people, 6 of us. I had Patrick Mahomes because we did like an all draft pick for our fantasy football. I got Patrick Mahomes, and then my cousin Robbie, he got Joe Brewer on his side. I was like, I wanted Kansas to lose, and plus I have Patrick Mahomes, my wide receiver, my quarterback. I was like,
Yeah. Usually when the people you draft in fantasy go against your home team, it's like, do I want my team to win or do I want my fantasy team to win?
yeah, I know.
And that's why you get Alvin Kamara, because that man had what, like 41 points by himself as a running back. So that's cool. Yeah, speaking of Mahomes with those 2 picks, he also had 150. He didn't have a good game throwing. 151 yards only, 18 of 25. He did have 2 touchdowns. But yes, obviously those 2 picks were costly at first
Costly.
until the final the one of the final plays of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Uh I've seen mixed comments about it. I've seen people say that's not a flag. I've seen people say that is a flag. But then the one thing I see and a lot of people pointed out afterwards, yeah, it's a flag. It's the right call. But you missed a obvious holding call on the Chiefs O-line. And those flags combined would have offset, so they would have had to replay the down.
Mm-hmm. True.
So yes, it was the right call. But no, it wasn't the right time for it because they didn't call the offensive holding.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on.
I'm not happy about that game. Right now, we're 2-0-2.
Neither am I. Neither am I.
You won
Moving on.
you week 1 and you only lost one game, so that's not the worstest at all.
Yeah. So I know it's only week 2, but it's time to get to the standings. Let's see how the NFL looks.
Yeah,
What do we think?
wow.
Commanders in first in the East. What's that about?
Yikes.
Let's talk about it. All right, let's start with obviously the surprise of the Commanders being first. The Commanders are 1-1, which yes is tied with the Eagles and Cowboys. The thing is, they have a technical tiebreaker right now. The tiebreakers, I believe, go based off record against division, and then points, if I remember, like the differential.
Mm-hmm.
So, because Commanders beat the Giants and the Eagles and Cowboys haven't played anyone in their division yet, Commanders are technically first.
Mm.
The Seahawks, they're first because they're 2-0. 49ers and Cardinals are both 1-1. Rams are 0-2. So yeah, they're automatically first based off record. Same goes for the Vikings, who are also 2-0, while the rest are 1-1. And the Saints round off the NFC with a record of 2-0, and the Buccaneers are tied with them, also at 2-0. But the Saints played the Panthers, and the Buccaneers haven't played anyone in the division yet, so that's why. In the AFC, the East is led by the Bills, who are 2-0, while the rest are 1-1. The Chargers lead the West, who are also 2-0. Chiefs are tied with them, 2-0, but obviously week 1, Chargers beat the Raiders, division rivals, so they have the slight edge. Steelers are also 2-0.
And there's
The
only
Browns
one,
are
1-1, and then the Ravens and Bengals are 0-2. I can't believe we're 0-2 already. The Bengals are.
yeah. And to finish off with the AFC South, Texans are 2-0, while the rest of the division is 0-2.
That's crazy.
Yep. Moving on, we
And
have our injury report and their estimated return date. Start off, we have Tua, obviously mentioned twice now. He was placed on IR, so at the very minimum, he will miss 4 games. Tyler Huntley was signed by the Dolphins, so they will most likely use him as a replacement. Isaiah Pacheco injured his fibula last game, so he's out 48 weeks. Deebo Samuel, calf injury, he will be out a couple weeks according to Coach Shanahan. Cooper Kupp, with a foot injury is uncertain, but I believe from recent news he would be placed on IR, which would be a minimum 4
Mm-hmm.
weeks. Joe Mixon
Speaking of
suffered
Joe
an ankle injury.
Mixon, he used to play for the Bengals last year. He got traded to Houston, Texas.
Yep.
We lost our best
Um.
wide receiver running back.
Yeah. Yeah. He had an ankle injury, so he's questionable this coming week. But don't be surprised if you see him on the field. David Bell from Cleveland. He suffered a hip injury, so he will be getting surgery on it, which will be season ending.
Oh, that
Sucks for the young
sucks.
guy. Yeah. AJ Brown from Philly suffered a hamstring injury. He will be out a couple weeks as well, according to Coach Sirianni.
Mm-hmm.
Jawan Bentley from the Patriots suffered a pectoral injury, which is around your like chest and shoulder area, that kind of area. It was a torn pectoral muscle, so
Dang.
he's gonna have to rest for the season. It's season-ending injury there. And to finish all off, as mentioned before, Graham Gano got hurt, so they didn't have him for that Giants loss. Suffered a hamstring injury. He will be out several weeks, according to Coach Dayball.
Jeez. That's a lot.
Yeah, this
That's a
all
lot.
sucks. But
That's a lot of season ends.
yeah, a couple.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, more.
on the contrary, we have some people that might be returning. These guys are all questionable to return, so be on the lookout. They might be back for week 3. Nate Wiggins from Baltimore suffered a neck injury a few weeks back. He is questionable return for week 3. Xavier Weaver from the Cardinals had an oblique injury back during the preseason time area. He's also questionable. Keenan Allen with Chicago might return this week after suffering a heel injury. T. Higgins, you would hope this guy can come back for Cincinnati.
I heard he might be coming back
Yeah, he is questionable return with
because
that hamstring injury he's still suffering.
I've been watching a YouTuber talks about Bengals, and they were press talk to him about when he's gonna come back. He might be back week 3. We don't know yet.
It would be
I hope we.
good for you guys.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that could be nice. Also, potentially getting back Amarius Mims, the rookie tackle.
Yep.
That could be useful for you guys too.
Both of them.
Yeah, for sure. Both of them could be really useful to have back. And to round it off, David Njoku from Cleveland, who suffered that ankle injury in week 1 against the Cowboys, could potentially return this week. But obviously, we'll see. They're all questionable.
Yep, we'll see.
All right, lightning round time with this NCAA Week 3 recap. We had a few bye weeks from ranked teams, but we have a lot of ranked teams to go through. So let's go. Number 1, Georgia went to Kentucky and won 13-12. Pretty close game.
How? Because Georgia can score more than that. I did not expect that at all.
For sure. The UTSA Roadrunners went to Texas, and the Longhorns destroyed them 56-7.
Yep, Alabama and
Yeah.
Washington or Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Okay, 42-10.
Yep.
Ooh.
Ole Miss, 5th-ranked Ole Miss, went to Wake Forest and destroyed them 40-6.
This was
we had 2 ranked teams.
Close game. 27.
2 ranked teams, close game.
Boston College is ranked 24, and Missouri ranked number 6, 27-21. That's the closest ranked game. Closest game so far.
That Georgia game exists. And we have our biggest shutout. I forgot to put it on the side of biggest shutout.
It's fine.
I could have, but I didn't really. The Tennessee Volunteers shut out the Kent State Golden Flashes,
Holy,
71-0.
holy crap.
Yeah. Then we had the Battle of Oregon when the Ducks, ranked 9th, took on the Oregon State Beavers. They won 49-14.
And now shout out. Hurricane taking on Ball State, 62-0. And now shout out. Jeez.
Yep.
Two shutout
Not as
games.
big as a,
171.
uh,
Yeah, not Tennessee. So in week 3, more of them.
Yep. Utah took on Utah State. This was another state battle.
It wasn't.
And
It
they
wasn't a blowout game. It was
wasn't a
still.
blowout game.
It was still a little bit close
Yeah.
by a couple points.
17.
This one.
Yeah. Oklahoma State took on Tulsa. They won 45-10.
A no ranked team.
Two ranked teams went head to head, and one came out on top. Kansas State Wildcats
They got
took
Arizona.
on the Arizona Wildcats.
Okay, okay.
We had the Wildcat battle. They were both Wildcat teams. The Wildcats beat the Wildcats 31-7. We had Tulane visiting Oklahoma. The Sooners ranked 15th.
And they're in SEC conference this year.
Mm-hmm. They defeated Tulane 34-19.
I remember the Bearcats used to play against Tulane. This is a no close game.
Oh yeah, this one was. LSU took on South Carolina, and the Tigers won 36-33. Close game though. Michigan Wolverines ranked
10.
17th, won by 10 against the Arkansas State Red Wolves. Notre Dame, after losing
It's not
to
a
Northern
shutout.
Illinois,
It's not a
it's not a
shutout.
shutout, but they decided to show up for a crazy game and went 66-7 against Purdue. And to round it all off, Nebraska, ranked 23, defeats Northern Iowa 34-3. That's to round off our ranked teams. But here, some other things. We start with our highest total game that included overtime. This was 71 total points from Jacksonville State and Eastern Michigan, where Eastern Michigan won by 3. Our biggest differential was 77 points by South Alabama and Northwestern State. There's an asterisk on it because in the fourth quarter, they elected to only play 6 minutes due to how bad the score was.
Wow.
So to think that it could have been a worse score if they played
100.
the full.
It'll be
if
in
they played the
100
full
quarter. I know they will do that.
Yeah, it was really bad. So I think the Northwestern coach or one of the coaches asked like, "Hey, it's really bad. Can we just like play like half the quarter or something?"
The fans
They were like,
probably
"Sure."
won't mind. The
Oh,
home
they probably
team,
didn't.
the away
Home
team,
team,
probably like
away team wanted it. They turned it off at first quarter.
yeah. Why you have double?
This also is the highest total as well of 97 total points. So obviously, the biggest difference was 77. I believe South Alabama actually broke a record for how many points by a single team for like a certain group.
Yeah.
And then our teams here, my San Jose State Spartans beat Kennesaw State 31-10.
The Bearcats won 27-16 over Miami, Ohio. The Victory Bowl, was it? Yeah, the Victory Bowl. And Bearcats won it back since I forget what year it was. It's been a long time since the Bearcats had the Victory Bowl. The top Week 3, the top 25 buys.
So all 7 of these teams did not play. So we also like to mention them though because they are in the top 25. Ohio State Buckeyes, Penn State, Nittany Lions, USC Trojans, Louisville Cardinals, Iowa State Cyclones, Clemson Tigers, and the Northern Illinois Huskies all had a bye week, so they did not play at all this week.
And here's your standings for the top 24. Week 4, AP top 25.
So we have a few switcheroos, a few changes on some of these. 2 teams out, 2 new teams in. So let's go down the list. Texas moves up to 1, replaces Georgia's number 1 spot. Ohio State stays at 3. Alabama and Ole Miss also stay in their spots. Tennessee moves up to 6. They swap spots with Missouri. Miami moves up to 8 and swaps spots basically with Penn State. Oregon stays at 9. USC stays at 11. Utah stays at 12. Kansas State and Oklahoma State swap 13 and 14. Oklahoma Sooners at 15. LSU stays at 16. Notre Dame moves up 1 and Michigan moves down 1 for 17 and 18. Louisville stays at 19. Iowa State moves up 1 due to the Arizona Wildcats losing. Clemson also moves up 1 because of this. Nebraska moves up 1. Northern Illinois moves up 2 due to Boston College losing. And to round it all off, our 2 new teams were Illinois at 24th, beating Central Michigan 30-9, and Texas A&M at 25, beating the Florida Gators 33-20. As mentioned, Arizona Wildcats and Boston College Eagles were removed from this week.
Wow. The why I say NBA, MLB playoffs.
Yes, here's the MLB playoff picture as of Monday, September 16th. So don't hate me if a team is actually above another one when you guys watch this. I have to make these slides on the Monday, so yeah. In the American League, in the East, the Yankees lead by 3 games over the Orioles. Actually a little bit more now that the Giants beat them 10-0, the Orioles. In the Central, we have Guardians up by 5 games. Kansas City is also creeping up there. And in the West, Astros lead by 4, and the Mariners are close.
Jeez.
In the National League, we have the Phillies leading by 8 games. Mets and Braves are currently fighting for that 2nd spot, which is a potential wild card. In the Central, Brewers lead by 10 games over the Cubs, and obviously the Reds, who are way down there.
They won today. I know it was an update, guys. He did his Monday. We were trying to do it on Tuesday before we record. It took forever to do it.
Yeah, we did that
Week
1 or episode 1, and I was really tired. So I'm like, I'm gonna just do it as of Monday scores, so I don't have to stress about
the
updated ones. Yeah, and then to cap it all off, in the West, Dodgers lead by 3.5 games. Padres are close, and the Diamondbacks are also close. That's their leaders for the wild card currently. If the season were to have ended Monday, Baltimore Orioles, Kansas City Royals, and the Minnesota Twins would all make it for the American League. San Diego Padres, Arizona Diamondbacks, and the New York Mets would all make it for the National League.
Next is
WNBA playoff picture as of Monday. The WNBA season ends this Thursday, regular season. So next time we update you guys on it, the playoffs will have already started. It's pretty much the same for the top. It is the exact same for the top 7 and the bottom 3. However, the Mystics and Sky swap places after the Mystics won a couple more games, and are tied currently with the Sky for that last playoff spot. And we got some soccer to update you guys on with the Premier League update. This is match week 4. I added all the stats here so you can know the difference between why another team's above another team when they have the exact same win, draw, loss record. So I added the goals for, against, and difference. And those are your main deciding factors for why another team's above one team. So let's go through it. Our only team to not draw or lose has been Man City. They have 4 wins, no draws, no losses. Arsenal and Newcastle are tied at 3-1-0. That is 3 wins, 1 draw, no losses. Arsenal has the slight advantage due to the goal difference being 5, +5 over +3. Liverpool and Aston Villa both have 3 wins and 1 loss. Brighton and Nottingham Forest have 2 wins, 2 draws. Chelsea has 2 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss. Brentford and Manchester United have 2 wins and 2 losses to round off the top 10.
That's a
And
lot.
then for the bottom, yeah, that's a lot. And for the bottom 10, J Lakers, you're supposed to show the.
Oh, sorry. I think you paused for a minute. I tell you. Oh, sorry. My bad.
I was waiting for it to show. For the bottom 10, Bournemouth and Fulham have 1 win, 2 draws, and a loss. The Spurs of Tottenham and West Ham United have 1 win, 1 draw, and 2 losses. Leicester City, Crystal Palace, and Ipswich Town have 2 draws and 2 losses. Wolves have 1 draw and 3 losses. And to round off the 20 teams, Southampton and Everton are both 0-0 and 4, that 4 being those 4 losses.
Okay, let's move on, guys. Oh,
Let's move on to the part you've all been waiting for. NFL predictions. Here's our current standings. I'm losing. J Lakers won this week 9-7. I went 8-8.
week 1 we both did good.
So,
I don't know how. That was lucky.
I don't know how.
And then our totals, I'm winning
Totals,
by.
if you add them up.
I'm winning by 1.
Yep, 21-11 for him, 20-12 for me.
Then
All right.
week 3
Let's
now.
start Thursday Night Football. We have the New England Patriots taking on the New York Jets. Both teams are 1-1, looking to go 2-1. It's Jacoby Brissett versus Aaron Rodgers. Patriots might have a new look at the O-line a little bit. There were a couple of injuries that weren't fully reported, but they are questionable. So that's why I didn't report them.
Mm-hmm. Next
game, we got the San Francisco 49ers taking on the LA Rams.
That Sam.
Rams are 0-2.
That Sam is nice.
Oh yeah, SoFi is nice.
It was expensive too, they said.
I've never been there in person, but it always looks nice from when I see it from the outside during the previews.
And Super Bowl was there a couple years ago.
A few years ago. Yeah, a few years ago.
Dance to LA Rams. The Bengals lost Dance to LA Rams by 3.
Yeah, the stadium's nice. It's gonna be Brock Purdy versus Matthew Stafford. Purdy's not gonna have Debo nor Christian McCaffrey, but on the flip side, Matthew Stafford's not gonna have Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua. So, would you rather have your backup running back and your wide receiver 2, or your wide receiver 3 and your running back 1? That's gonna be the question. Sunday Night Football. It's the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. Chiefs are 2-0, as we know. Atlanta just won Monday night, and they are 1-1. It's gonna be Patrick Mahomes versus Kirk Cousins. No Pacheco for Mahomes. He's out with an injury, as mentioned before. But Kareem Hunt will be returning to the Chiefs when the Chiefs signed him. Kareem Hunt used to be on the Chiefs way back when, a long time ago, before joining the Browns to back up Nick Chubb. He is rejoining the Chiefs here because Pacheco is injured.
We have double hitter on Monday night this week.
Yep. So our first Monday night game is the Jacksonville Jaguars going to Buffalo to take on the Bills. The Bills are 2-0 and the Jags are 0-2. So either both teams will have 3 in their record or both teams will gain a 1 in their record one way or another.
Yeah.
Jacksonville could go 1-2 or they can go 0-3. Buffalo can go 3-0 or go 2-1. This will be Trevor Lawrence versus Josh Allen. Or to some people, this is their favorite matchup because it's actually Josh Allen versus Josh Allen.
What?
Jacksonville's one of their defenders' names is Josh Hines Allen. He changed his name recently. He changed his name obviously for a tribute to his maternal family.
Okay.
So yes, he changed it to Hines Allen. Some people jokingly said you changed it because he's not even the most well-known Josh Allen in the NFL, which is a little messed up in my eyes, but yeah, it's kind of true. So for this matchup, I like to say Josh Allen's gonna win this game, but I don't know. It's either who do you got? Do you got Josh Allen or Josh Allen?
We'll find out when we go there.
Yeah, I got Josh Allen taking on Josh Allen and winning.
Okay, Wes.
And to cap off our primetime games, we have the Washington Commanders going over to Cincinnati and taking on the Cincinnati Bengals.
And plus, this is a Monday night, and plus, this is a Ring of Honor night for the Bengals.
Yep.
We'll see who makes it Ring of Honor this year. We'll find out because the Joe Brewer, I hope he can have a better game. And then T. Hankins is crushable, like we told you already. He's a crushable come back in the game. So we'll see.
This is Jaden Daniels versus Joe Burrow for the QB matchup. Washington 1-1, Cincinnati 0-2. Cincinnati's looking to bounce back.
I hope so. Sure. We'll see.
Just be on the lookout for the running backs mainly.
Yeah.
But NFL Week 3 picks. We have all of our picks here now. Let's take a look.
Thursday night, I have New York Jets. Then Sunday, I have Cleveland, Indiana, Houston, Philly, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, Green Bay, Carolina, Seattle, Detroit, Dallas, Rams, and the Falcons, Bills, and I have to go with my home team, the Cincinnati Bengals. Who day?
Who day indeed. All right, I'm questioning some of these picks, but let me go through mine. I have. Let's see here. I also have the Jets. Also have Cleveland and Indianapolis and Houston. I got New Orleans winning this game actually between them and Philly. New Orleans is scoring a lot of points. I'm not too high on Philly, but we'll see. Obviously, I have the Chargers over Pittsburgh, but this one's debatable. I'm okay with either one because actually it could be Pittsburgh's defense that does really good. Tampa Bay. I also have Green Bay. I have the Raiders over Carolina. I just love the Raiders defense this year. It looks really good. And I don't think Andy Dalton's going to do much against that defense, especially if it's not the QB as a problem. I got Miami over Seattle. We both got Detroit, and then it looks like the last 3 are different. I got Baltimore over Dallas. I have San Francisco over the Rams, and I have Kansas City over Atlanta. That's just because I just feel like Atlanta might win that. And then to round it off in Monday, we got the same Buffalo and Cincinnati.
Jeez, my phone almost fell in my hand.
Okay. Yep. So let me see. That's 7 different picks. So we'll have a different record again.
Yeah, we'll see.
And with that, thanks for watching, y'all. It's been a great episode 3, a long episode 3. Thanks for sticking with us, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. J-Lakers, hit him with the outro.
Don't forget to subscribe to my and Tony's 3 channels on YouTube. It'll be in the description. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like he said. We have 12 subscribers now. Nice. And don't forget to follow us on X and Instagram, on here, and join our Discord. Everything will be in the description. We'll see this all next time. Bye.